The Euro-Asia Division is geographically the largest Seventh-day Adventist territory in the world. It stretches across nearly half the globe, from Eastern Europe to the Pacific Ocean, and from the polar regions above the Arctic Circle to Central Asia. If you were to travel through this division, you would have to adjust your watch for 11 different time zones. Euro-Asia is made up of 12 countries, including the predominantly Christian nations of Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, and Armenia, and the predominantly Muslim nations of Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. Each of these countries is highly diverse with its own mix of ethnic groups, religions, and languages, but they share a common past, for they were all once part of the Soviet Union. The rise of communism in 1917 led to a loss of religious freedom in this region. By 1929, many Seventh-day Adventist churches had been confiscated or closed. Adventist publications were banned, and religious meetings in private homes were strictly forbidden. Hundreds of Seventh-day Adventists were arrested, imprisoned, or sent to labor camps for sharing their faith. Some even paid with their lives. By 1938, there were no congregational worship services anywhere in Russia, yet church members remained faithful to God. When communism fell in 1991, people experienced many new freedoms. Thousands were hungry for God, and the Seventh-day Adventist Church grew rapidly. But this surge in religious interest soon waned as people began to adopt the secular lifestyle of the West. Today, the church continues to grow, but progress is slow. Of the 280 million people in the Euro-Asia division, fewer than 140,000 are Seventh-day Adventist. We have much to do to share the Adventist message here, and we face many challenges. Because religion was largely forbidden during Soviet times, many believers are nominal followers of their faiths. Few read the Bible. Atheism and agnosticism are strong, and subsequent political chaos, inflation, and unemployment have left millions disillusioned and indifferent to religion. Yet many are seeking spiritually for something that won't let them down. Adventist church members in the Euro-Asia division are reaching out to those who are seeking hope. Through evangelism and one-on-one outreach, they are touching hearts for Jesus. One area where the church is experiencing exciting growth is Siberia. Covered with virgin forests and waving grasslands, Siberia is the vast empty part of Russia to the west of the Ural Mountains. Life can be harsh here, and the winters bitterly cold. But Adventist churches are drawing people into the warmth of God's love. This quarter's 13th Sabbath offerings will help provide church homes for 2 growing congregations in Siberia. Krasnoyarsk is a city of about 1 million people, with only 5 Adventist congregations. One of these meets in a simple house church. Alicia was looking for a way to share Jesus with her friends and neighbors, and felt impressed to start a small group. She invited Margarita, who has been attending now for a year and a half.
This is my family. They are the closest people to me. Jesus is the person who loves me and is always with me, and something that enlightened my life.
Evangelistic meetings and small groups, such as the one Alicia helped start, are winning hearts to Jesus. But as membership grows, there are no permanent church homes for new members to join. Guillermo Biaggi, president of the Euro-Asia division, says the lack of church buildings is a huge challenge.
Our greatest challenge is to have more chapels here in this great division territory, and the 13th Sabbath offerings will come for different projects of chapels in different countries. So we are so happy, and it's so important for us that the family of our church will be contributing for these wonderful projects, for church members and newcomers to worship the true God and to be prepared for heaven.
The believers in Krasnoyarsk have purchased land and have laid plans to build a church. Your 13th Sabbath offerings will help provide a church home for 2 congregations. Another area in Siberia where small groups and evangelism are helping to grow the church is Tomsk. Tomsk is a university city with a population of about 500,000. But only one house church, hidden away on a back street, represents the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Some 180 Adventists live and worship in Tomsk. While the little house church should seat only about 90 people, they often squeeze in many more. There simply isn't any room for new members. Alexander is an elder at a house church in Tomsk, but a few years ago, he planned to stir up trouble for the congregation. Convinced it was a sect, he went to the church determined to rescue a relative. He was met with such an outpouring of love, his heart was touched.
I came as an enemy to this place, and I came to create a war between me and this church. But I voluntarily decided that I also needed to follow this lifestyle because, as I understand, God showed me through the brothers and sisters His love, His smiles, and I was just amazed by those relationships that I met first.
Alexander accepted Jesus as his Savior, was baptized, and is now reaching out to others with God's love. The Adventists in Tomsk have purchased land and are working hard to build a new church large enough to accommodate 2 congregations. Part of this quarter's 13th Sabbath offerings will help fund this much-needed church.
So we really need a new, nice building for the worship that will become like a new witness in this city so others can come and join with us.
The Republic of Azerbaijan lies along the Caspian Sea, south of Russia. Some 8 million people live in this country, but fewer than 5% are Christians, and only about 700 are Adventist. They worship in small groups and a few scattered churches across the country. Sharing your faith is difficult in Azerbaijan. Religious freedom is restricted, and people who belong to minority religions or who change their faith are often persecuted. The countries of Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia make up one region of the Adventist Church called the Trans-Caucasus Union Mission. More than 16 million people live in these 3 countries, but only 2,000 of them are Adventist. Entire villages have no Adventist believers, and people there have never heard the Bible truths we love. The children in these countries don't have access to Sabbath school lesson materials in their own language.
It is very important to have materials for children because new generation are forming right now. And what we will have in future, we are forming them now. Because I belong to generation of Soviet time, when we had not any chance to read anything about religious. So if in past time I would have this chance, maybe I would be converted earlier. So this new generation has to know, has to have these materials about Jesus, about Bible, all materials that it's possible to have.
Part of our 13th Sabbath offering will help provide the children of Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia with Sabbath school lessons in their own language, helping them to grow into strong Christians and to build a strong Adventist church for the future in these countries. As you can see, there are many challenges to mission in the Euro-Asia division, but one-on-one sharing and evangelism are winning hearts to Jesus. Thousands are coming to Him and are eager to share their faith with others, but they need church homes in which to worship. We can help them have those homes so that more and more people can come to know Jesus' love. Your prayers and generous support of the 13th Sabbath offering can make an eternal difference in the Euro-Asia division. Please give generously.